is to music first, always.
We are unstoppable.
Open the frontiers to make people meet people.
Music is not fireworks. Music is feeling.
You're good to go.
Don't you vote for the music?
This is Vote for the Music, the Eurovision podcast.
Hello and welcome back to Vote for the Music, the Eurovision podcast. I'm Benjamin and Tadeusz.
And I'm Tadeusz.
Now today we're beginning our quickfire reviews of the second semi-final of the Eurovision Song Contest 2024, which is taking place on the 9th of May in Malmö Arena. Firstly, this week we'll be looking at the first 8 songs in that semi-final in the first half, and that begins with the first song in our running order, which is Loop by Bonnici for Malta.
I'm a lamb with the bad things on you. I'm a teaser, no catch you love it when I move.
Loop is exactly what you could expect from modern dance Malta. Cliché uninspired dance bop, which after a heavy revamp ended up even worse than it was at the beginning.
I mean, not to be rude to Bonnici, I'm sure she's trying her very hardest, but when I first watched the performance at the Malta Eurovision Song Contest, my reaction was, this is just a really, really poor man's version of Slow Mo by Chanel. It's structurally the same song, just worse. The performance is the same, just worse. Even plenty of the dance moves are exactly the same. The only thing they've really taken out of it is the flamenco Spanish vibe, but apart from that it is fairly identical. But the difference here is the song just isn't as strong, the performance isn't as slick and polished and choreographed to an inch of its life like Slow Mo was, and I think when you're copying success, you're just doomed to fail, and I think that's exactly what we're going to get here with Malta.
If I were to look for some bright spot, I would say Bonnici is quite charismatic. She can move on stage almost like Chanel. The audience is gonna like it, fans already do.
Well, I mean, unless you're literally Theodore Andrew, the audience is probably going to lap up anything on that Eurovision stage if you know what Eurovision fans are like, irrespective really of quality. So I don't really think that's going to come into it a lot. But if we're looking at how it's going to appear on the television screen based upon the performance of the Malta Eurovision Song Contest and the choreography and the staging there, and usually how well Malta managed to glow up from national final to the contest in terms of staging and choreography, I don't expect much. I think it's going to look quite silly, it's going to look quite flat, and it's going to look quite basic. It's hardly going to be what Chanel delivered 2 years ago in Turin. It's going to look, in my opinion, a bit like a parody of that. Although it's not a parody, it's entirely serious.
Decently is bland, forgettable, poorly written, and all these standard epithets. However, it is not a disappointment. It is exactly what you could expect. Malta just has a massive Eurovision problem. They make weak selection filled with weak songs, select a weak winner who gives weak performance and ends up with weak place in the final. Rinse and repeat every year. Unless it's there when they scrap that all together and instead buy the song from Sweden or something similar. This is the road to nowhere. Can it be fixed? I honestly don't know. The last hope was in 2023 and unfortunately the drowned among many original acts.
Yes, as you've acutely summarised, the state of Malta at the Eurovision Song Contest is not in the best position. But something I do want to highlight is the fact that Malta do seem, even though they're not very good at it, to really be trying from a loving place. And you do get the sense, watching the Malta Eurovision Song Contest, that everyone there is as friends, as colleagues, as family, and they're all pushing each other on, and they all want everyone to succeed. And I don't think you get that in many of the national finals, and that is something which I really don't want Malta to lose, because every single person in that final was happy for Sarah Bonnici to win and would have been happy for any of the artists to win.
Regarding the qualification, no chance.
Yes, I mean, qualification is incredibly unlikely, especially as this is by far the strongest semi-final. I think the songs overall only go up from here. There are a couple of ones, but this is definitely one of the distinctly weakest songs of this semi-final. I'd be very surprised if it goes through. But potentially the fact it is opening the semi-final and might stick in audiences' minds could give it an advantage. But then again, just like we only had 2 years ago with Albania's entry Secret by Rinella, which also opened the semi-final, sometimes you can stick in mind for the wrong reasons and not get through to the final. So I believe that's probably what will happen, and I'd be very surprised if Malta is in fact in that grand final on the 11th of May. Very surprised.
And that's all I have to say about Loop, because really, there isn't anything to say about it other than stuff like, at least it's not matte black.
So thank you for listening to our quickfire review of Malta's entry for this year's Eurovision Song Contest. Now we'll be back tomorrow as we continue through the second semi-final and take a look at Albania's entry. But until then, remember to follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or wherever else you may get our podcasts from. You can subscribe to us on YouTube if you're listening to there. Leave a comment down below, leave a like, interact with our Q&As on Spotify, or leave a review on Apple and Amazon Podcasts. But until the next time, thank you so very much for listening, and remember to vote for the music.
This is to music first, always.
We are unstoppable.
Open the frontiers to make people meet people.
Music is not fireworks. Music is feeling.
You're good to go.
Thank you, vote for the music!
This is Vote for the Music, the Eurovision podcast.